My name is Delilah DeYoung, and this is Learning to Love America by Shirley Gocklin Lim. Because it has no pure products, because the Pacific Ocean sweeps along the coastline, because the water of the ocean is cold, and because land is better than ocean. Because I say we rather than they. Because I live in California, I've eaten fresh artichokes in jacaranda bloom in April and May. Because my senses have caught up with my body, my breath with the air it swallows, my hunger with my mouth. Because I walk barefoot in my house. Because I've nursed my son at my breast. Because he is a strong American boy. Because I've seen his eyes redden when he's asked who he is, because he answers, I don't know. Because to have a son is to have a country. Because my son will bury me here. Because countries are in our blood and we bleed them. Because it is late and too late to change my mind. Because it is time. Thank you.
My name is Keely Tui, and I will be reciting The World is About to End and My Grandparents Are in Love by Cara Jackson. Still, living like they orbit one another. My grandfather, the planet, and Grandma, his moon, assigned by some gravitational pull. They have loved long enough for a working man to retire. Grandma says she's not tired. She wears her husband like a coat that survives every season. Line? Talks about him the way my parents talk about vinyl. The subject salvaged by the tent of their tongues. Grandma returns to her love like a hymn, marks it down with a color. When the world ends, line, when the world ends, will it suck the earth of all its love? Will I go taking someone's hand, my skin becoming their skin? The digital age is taking away our winters, and I'm afraid the sun is my soulmate. That waste waits for a wet kiss. Carbon calls me pretty, and I think death is a good first date. I hope when the world ends, it leaves them be. Spares Grandpa in his game. Grandma spinning corn into weight. The two of them reeling into Western theme songs. The TV louder than whatever's coming. Thank you.
My name is Jacinth Wilby, and I'll be reciting the poem To the Oppressors by Polly Murray. Now you are strong, and we are but grapes aching with ripeness. Crush us, squeeze us from all the brave life contained in these full skins. But ours, a subtle strength, potent with centuries of yearning, of being kegged and shut away in dark, forgotten places. Now we shall endure to still your senses in that lonely twilight of your winter's grief. Thank you.
My name is Rowan Camarana, and I will be reciting Summer by Chen Chen. You are the ice cream sandwich connoisseur of your generation. Blessed are your floral shoulderalls, your deeply pink fanny pack with travel-sized lint roller, just in case. Level of splendiferous in your outfit, 200. Types of pain stemming from adolescent disasters in classrooms, locker rooms, and quite often Toyota Camrys, at least 10,000. You are a Jigglypuff, not yet a Wigglytuff. Reporters and fathers call your generation the worst, which really means queer kids could go online and find out that queer doesn't have to mean disaster or dead. Instead, queer means splendiferously you. And you are someone who knows that the most common flavors for ice cream sandwiches in Singapore include red bean, yam, and honeydew. Your powers are great, are growing. One day, you will create an online personality quiz that also freshens the breath. The next day, you will tell your father, you were wrong to say I had to change, to make me promise and promise and promise. Thank you.
My name is Sam Crowley, and my poem is Insomnia by Dante Gabriel Rossetti. Thin are the night skirts left behind by daybreak hours that onward creep, and thin, alas, the shred of sleep that wavers with the spirit's wind. But in half dreams that shift and roll and still remember and forget, my soul this hour has drawn your soul a little nearer yet. Our lives most dear are never near, our thoughts are never far apart. Though all that draws us heart to heart seems fainter now, and now more clear. Tonight love gains his full control, and with desire and with regret, my soul this hour has drawn your soul a little nearer yet. Line. Is there a home where heavy earth melts to bright new air that breeds no pain? Line. Where water leaves no thirst again, and springing fire is love's new birth. Line. If faith long bound to one true goal, may there at length its hope beget, my soul this hour shall draw your soul forever nearer yet.
My name is Matthew Brancaccio, and I will be reciting Anthem for My Belly After Eating Too Much by Kara Jackson. I look in the mirror, and all the chips I've eaten this month have accumulated like schoolwork at the bottom of my tummy. My belly, a country I try to love. My mouth is a lover devoted to you. My belly, my belly. The birds will string a song together with wind for you and your army of solids, militia of Greece. Americans love excess, but we also love jeans and refuse to make excess comfortable in them. I step into a fashionable prison, my middle managed and fastened into suffering, my glorious gut, dutiful dome. I will wear a house for you that you can live in, promise walls that embrace your growing flesh and watch you reach out towards everything possible. Thank you.
My name is Elena Gonzalez, and I'll be reciting Abandoned Farmhouse by Ted Kooser. He was a big man, says the size of his shoes, on a pile of broken dishes by the house. A tall man, too, says the length of the bed in an upstairs room. And a good, God-fearing man, says the Bible with a broken back, on the floor below the window, dusty with sun. But not a man for farming, say the fields cluttered with boulders and the leaky barn. A woman lived with him, says the bedroom wall papered with lilacs and the kitchen shelves covered with oilcloth. And they had a child, says the sandbox made from a tractor tire. Money was scarce, say the jars of plum preserves and canned tomatoes sealed in the cellar hole. And the winter's cold, say the rags in the window frames. It was lonely here, says the narrow country road. Something went wrong, says the empty house in the weed-choked yard. Stones in the field say he was not a farmer. The still sealed jars in the cellar say she left in a nervous haste. And the child, its toys are strewn in the yard like branches after a storm. A rubber cow, a rusty tractor with a broken plow, a doll in overalls. Something went wrong, they say. Thank you.
My name is Elijah Greenberg. This is Hunger for Something by Chase Twitchell. Sometimes I long to be the wood pile, cut apart trees, soon to be smoke or even the smoke itself. Sinewy ghost of ash and air, going wherever I want to, at least for a while. Neither inside nor out, neither lost nor home, no longer a shape or a name. I'd pass through all the broken windows of the world. It's not a wish for consciousness to end. It's not the appetite an army has for its own emptying heart, but a hunger to stand now and then alone on the death grounds where the dogs of the self are feeding. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Glera, and I'll be reciting Ways of Talking by Hajin. We used to like talking about grief. Our journals and letters were packed with losses, complaints, and sorrows, even if there was no grief. We wouldn't stop lamenting as the longing for the charm of a distressed face. Then, we couldn't help expressing grief. So many things descended without warning. Labor wasted, loves lost, houses gone, marriages broken, friends estranged, ambitions torn away by immediate needs. Grief seemed like an endless river, the only immortal flow of life. After losing a land and then giving up a tongue, we stopped talking of grief. Smiles began to brighten our faces. We laugh a lot at our own mess. Things become beautiful, even hailstones and the strawberry fields. Thank you.
Hello, again, my name is Delilah DeYoung, and this is Fairy Tale with Laryngitis and Resignation Letter by Jehan Dubrow. You remember the mermaid makes a deal, her tongue evicted from her throat, and moving is a knife cut with every step. This is what escape from water means. Dear colleagues, you write, for weeks I've been typing this letter in the bright kingdom of my imagination. Your body is a ship of pain. Pleasure is when you climb the rocks and watch the moonlight touching everywhere you want to go. A silver world called far away. Dear colleagues, you write, this place is a few sentences contained by the cursor's rippling barrier. What happened here is only beaks and brackets, the seraph's liquid stroke. The old story has witches, a prince in love with the surging silence of women, a knife that turns the water red. You write, dear colleagues, now these years are filed in the infinite oceans of bureaucracy. Everything bleaches or fades. In other words, goodbye. Sometimes it's possible to walk, although you're told inside the oyster shell of your heart there is no soul. Creatures like you must end as a spray of salt, green droplets floating breathless through the air. Thank you.
My name is Keely Tui, and I will be reciting Listening in Deep Space by Diane Thiel. We've always been looking out for answers, telling stories about ourselves, searching for connection, choosing to send up Stravinsky and whale song, which, in translation, might very well be our undoing instead of a welcome. We want satellites, probes, telescopes unfolding like origami, navigating geomagnetic storms, major disruptions. Rovers with spirit and perseverance mapping the unknown. We listen through large arrays adjusted eagerly to hear the news that we are not alone. Considering the history at home, in houses, across continents, oceans, even in quest armed with good intentions. What one seeker has done to another, what will we do when we find each other? Thank you.
My name is Jacinth, and I'll be reciting We Are Not Responsible by Harriet Mullen. We are not responsible for your lost or stolen relatives. We cannot guarantee your safety if you disobey our instructions. We do not endorse causes or claims of people begging for handouts. We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. Your ticket cannot guarantee that we honor your reservations. In order to facilitate our procedures, please limit your carry-on. Before taking off, please remove all smoldering resentments. If you cannot understand English, you will be moved out of the way. In the event of a loss, you better look out for yourself. Your insurance was canceled because we can no longer handle your frightful claims. Our handlers lost your luggage and are unable to find the key to your legal case. You're detained for interrogation because you fit the profile. You are not presumed to be innocent if police have reasons to suspect you are carrying a concealed wallet. It's not our fault you were born wearing a gang color. It is not our obligation to inform you of your rights. Step aside, please, while our officer inspects your bad attitude. You have no rights we are bound to respect. Please remain calm, or we can't be held responsible for what happens to you. Thank you.
My name is Rowan Camarana, and I will be reciting Meanwhile by Richard Sykin. Driving, dogs barking, how you get used to it, how you make the new streets yours. Trees outside the window and a big band sound that makes you feel like everything's okay. A feeling that lasts for one song, maybe, the parentheses all clicking shut behind you. The way we move through space and time, or only time. The way it's night for many miles and then suddenly it's not. It's breakfast and you're standing in the shower for over an hour holding the bar of soap up to the light. I will keep watch. I will water the yard, not the tie and go to work, unknot the tie and go to sleep. I sleep, I dream, I make up things in my head that I would never say. I say them very quietly. Trees in the wind, streetlights on, the click and flash of cigarettes being smoked on the front lawn, and just a little kiss before we say goodnight. It spins like a wheel inside you, green, yellow, green, blue. Green, beautiful green. It's simple, it isn't over, it's just begun. It's green, it's still green. Thank you.
My name is Sam Crowley, and I will be reciting Advice to a Prophet by Richard Wilbur. When you come, as you soon must, to the streets of our city, mad-eyed from stating the obvious, not proclaiming our fall, but begging us in God's name to have self-pity. Spare us all word of the weapons, their force and range, the long numbers that rocket the mind. Our slow, unreckoning hearts will be left behind, unable to fear what is too strange. Nor shall you scare us with talk of the death of the race. How should we dream of this place without us? The sun mere fire, the leaves untroubled about us, a stone look on the stone's face. Speak of the world's own change. Though we cannot conceive of an undreamt thing, we know by our cost how the dreamt cloud crumbles. The vines are blackened by frost, how the view alters. We could believe, if you told us so, that the white-tailed deer will slip into perfect shade, grown perfectly shy, the lark avoid the reaches of our eye, the jackpine loose its knuckled grip on the cold ledge, and every torrent burn as xanthus once, its gliding trout stunned in a twinkling. What would we be without? The dolphin's ark, the dove's return, these are the things we have seen ourselves and spoken. Ask us, prophet, how we shall call our natures forth when that live tongue is all dispelled, the glass obscured or broken in which we have said, the rose of our love and the clean horse of our courage in which beheld, the singing locust of our soul unshelled, and all we mean or wish to mean. Ask us rather with the wordless rose, our hearts shall fail us, come demanding whether they'll be lofty or long-standing when the bronze annals of the oak tree close. Thank you.
My name is Matthew Brancaccio, and I will be reciting My Therapist Wants to Know About My Relationship to Work by Tiana Clark. I hustle upstream, I grasp, I grind, I control and panic, poke balloons in my chest, always popping there, always my thoughts, thump, thump. I snooze, wake, and go boom, All day like this, I short my breath. I scroll and scroll. I see what you wrote. I like, I heart my thumb. So tired, my head bent down, but not in prayer, heavy from the looking. I see your faces, your phone-lit faces. I tap your food 2 times for more hearts. I retweet. I email yes and yes and yes. Then I cry and need to say no, no, no. Why does it take so long to reply? I FOMO and shout. I read. I never enough. New book, new post, new ping, a new tab, then another. Papers on the floor, scattered and stacked. So many journals, unbroken white spines waiting. Did you hear that new? I start to text back, ellipsis, then I forget. I balk. I lazy the bed. I wallow when I write. I truth when I lie. I throw a book when a poem undoes me. I underline Clifton. Today we are possible. I sonnet, then break form. I make tea. Use 2 bags. Rooibos again. I bathe now. Epsom salt, no books or phone, just water and the sound of water filling. Glory, be my buoyant body, bowl of me. Yes, lavender, more bubbles and bath bomb. Of course, some candles too. All alone with Coltrane, my favorite. Naima for his wife, now for me, inside my own womb. Again, a child back. I float, I sing, I simple and humble, eyes close. I low my voice. Was it a psalm? Don't know, but I stopped. Thank you.
My name is Elena Gonzalez, and I'll be reciting And If I Did, What Then? By George Gascoigne. And if I did, what then? Are you aggrieved therefore? The sea hath fish for every man, but what? Would you have more? Line. Thus did my mistress once amaze my mind with doubt, and popped a question for the nonce to beat my brains about. Whereto I thus replied, each fisherman can wish that all the seas at every tide were his alone to fish. And so did I, in vain. But since it may not be, let such fish there as find the gain, and leave the loss for me. And with such luck and loss I will content myself, till tides of turning time may toss such fishers on the shelf. And when they stick on sands that every man may see, then will I laugh and clap my hands as they do now at me. Thank you.
I'm Elijah Greenberg. This is Holy Sonnets, Death Be Not Proud by John Donne. Death, be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those whom thou thinkst thou dost overthrow, die not, poor death. Nor yet canst thou kill me from rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be, much pleasure. Then from thee much more must flow, and soonest our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and souls' delivery. Thou art slave to fate, chance, kings, and desperate men, and dost with poison, war, and sickness dwell, and poppy or charms can make us sleep as well, and better than thy stroke. Why swell'st thou then? One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die. Thank you.
My name is Galera August, and I'll be reciting Across the Street by Austin Segrest. I ran across the street, I didn't know any better. Ran out in the street, I didn't know no better. I just knew a woman was there, though I never met her. She sat me in her parlor, distracted me with trinkets, milky glass, birds, and fish, distracting trinkets. She said my mother would be fine, but did she think it? The world was a blur of crystal wings and fins. My tears were cacks and crystal wings and fins. She was the first of many lady friends. The tree shadow shortened. She brought me a drink of water. Morning matured. She brought me a glass of water. I drank it so fast. She went and brought another. I kept looking out the window. She didn't ask me what for. I watched out that window. She didn't ask what for. The seconds broke off and laid her on the floor. I imagined my mother's route as far I could. Her long morning walk followed as far I could. Suffer the little children and forbid them not. Christ said, suffer the little children and forbid them not. Said, love thy neighbor sometimes. She's all you got. Thank you.